Everybody, welcome in. I'm Elizabeth and Camila with the New American Youth Ballet. We are back. This is our first one after the new year for Positivity. Today we have a special guest, and it's Olivia Sheldon. She is the one, for those of you that followed us with Our World Nutcracker, she is the one that did all the beautiful artwork for that. We have some folks coming in. Welcome in. Just to tell you a little bit about Olivia, we met her through a student of ours, Shani Chen, and they are roommates together at Cornell University. And Olivia is an art major. She's coming in now, and let's bring her on in. Hi, Olivia. Welcome in.
Hey.
Good to see you. Thanks for joining
Good to see
us
you
today.
too.
So we are so happy to have you, and we got a lot of wonderful feedback from dancers all over the world. So our last production, we had dancers from what? Argentina, Peru, Spain, Indonesia,
and the US.
and the US, of course. And Olivia was so busy drawing all the art. We're so grateful, and we really enjoyed working with you. You made it just a pleasure, and you got it done so quickly. So can you tell us a little bit about what brought you in to your interest in art and in drawing and painting? What brought you to this?
Yeah, I've definitely been interested in like art for a really, really, really long time, since I was very, very little. Especially when I was younger, I did a lot more like drawing and painting, which I still do a lot of, but I've definitely transitioned more recently to do more digital stuff because it's just so much easier.
Yes.
Yeah, especially because like couldn't bring like all of my art stuff with me to my dorm room last semester, so like I kind of had to like limit what I had. And the nice thing about doing something digitally is you can actually mimic most, like pretty well. You can mimic most texture stuff with different mediums.
Yes. And so at Cornell as an art major, what year are you in now?
So yeah, this is my first year.
What a crazy first year.
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy first year. I was just kind of happy to be there. Yeah, it definitely wasn't. I was just kind of happy to be there. And as an art major, it was nice because I got to actually go in person to a lot of studios. Basically, if you had like different art classes, and also if you had like labs, you got to go into the actual class.
Yeah.
That was like kind of the two. The only other classes that were kind of in person, I think there were some PE classes that could meet outside in person.
And before this project with us, had you had an interest in drawing ballet dancers, or was this kind of the first experience with dance paintings and drawings that you had done?
Yeah, this was pretty much the first dance. I've done some like copies of like master works in like pastel, but it's been a long time since I've done those, and this is the first time I've done, I'd say, like just kind of a almost cartoonish style from actual photographs of actual dancers instead of using someone else's work as the reference.
And can you just announce your Instagram handle for everybody watching?
Yeah, it's Olivia Art S, so LIVIA ART.S, I believe.
And we'll include that because if people want to commission you as an artist, is that the best place to find you?
Yeah, that is a great place to find me.
When I took a look at your Instagram page, I was really impressed with the diversity and just the various things. I put on our story the beautiful painting you did for Camila for her birthday.
Oh yeah.
I know Sarah Lucci with her toy pig, and it just had Camila is putting up your website now. It just had such personality, and it was perfect. So, and the drawings that you did of the dancers, one thing I've had a struggle sometimes finding artists who can draw dancers where they get the line correct, where it's not too clunky. It really, you really seem to have an understanding of the correct line. Have you ever danced before?
Not really. When I was like really, really young, I did some ballet, like really, really young. It was like one of those, I don't think there was even like, we did some like positions. Yeah. Right. But I mean, when I was like maybe like 4 or 5 or something like that, like I vaguely remember it. I remember a lot of running around and less actual dancing.
There was definitely some of that. You have 6 chickens, I believe. that you actually put them in tutus. Camila's a real
Yes.
animal lover, and she requested them to do a section in the show. Here's my best friend Pam coming on. Welcome in. And so, if with your permission, we will show those chickens. That was pretty remarkable. I've never seen chickens in tutus
Oh, wait,
before.
was that your dog that was wearing the tutu, or who was that?
Okay, so yeah, that was a dog that often is at my house. It's my grandmother's dog, but she lives very close to us.
Okay.
So, and that it's her name is Holly or Holland. People tend to call her Holly.
Can I shoot you a zany challenge right now?
Sure.
All right. So my husband is from Peru. We often visit, and I'm a real guinea pig fan. And so always when I go, this one's better. Yeah, Sarah, choose the eyes. So if you were going to draw something fuzzy and like this, how would you go about it? And do you use your iPad? Is that kind of your go-to canvas, if you will?
Yeah, I'd say that my iPad is probably my go-to, especially if I'm sketching stuff out. So for something fluffy like that, I'd probably do it in a pretty like cartoony style, and I think I'd probably use very like bumpy like lines instead of.
Okay.
Here, you know what?
Is there a way we can see?
Kind of sideways. I've got my
This
phone
is
up
kinda
on
cool.
a stool thing.
Are you cool with me holding them up like this? Let me
Yeah,
know
that's
if I need
fine.
to be any closer.
Yeah, so I don't
my-
even know what pen
My
I
beautiful
have.
student Alice,
Whatever.
and guess what her Instagram handle is? Alice_S Guinea Ballet. She has a guinea pig named Mary. He's awesome. Okay, I
Aw.
actually have 2 students with guinea pigs. Well, 3. I think more than that.
No, 7, right?
Well, BB has 5 guinea pigs, and then Alice
That's a
has
lot of
Mary,
guinea
who also
pigs.
plays the piano. So, but I mean, I don't know that anybody can compete with your chickens and tutus, Olivia.
Yeah, so did you get a bunch of animals?
We
Sheila?
did. Well, we got a hamster who drives. We got
Oh, whoa.
chickens. Okay, and then we got an amazing little doggy from Peru. And then we have our
Aw.
animals that don't really have any talent, but we're still here. See how we can creatively work them into the show.
So are you just kind of editing something together?
Yeah, but I mean, I definitely think your chickens need a feature on this week's show. So.
I didn't. They were not thrilled to be put into tutus, which is something I discovered
Sometimes we have that
as.
problem with our students. So.
Yeah, so I tend to. There are a couple of different styles that I use. This is kind of with eyes pretty far set apart. That's kind of what you might consider part of the Japanese like chibi style, spelled like that.
Okay.
Which is something I'll often use for a quick little like sketching for something like
I see
this.
it's coming
If
together
I
already.
if I was doing it, the fur's kind of weird. What I didn't want to do is because the fur actually kind of looks like this, but if you do that, it kind of ends up looking a little mangy.
Okay.
So I tend to try to make things a little softer. I do the same thing when I'm watercoloring, like physically, I'll try to avoid drawing too many of the exact hairs. You probably noticed on the painting I did of your dog.
It was soft.
It was very soft, and I did watercolor was my first layer, and then I tend to pick up on like clumps of hair and stuff with Prismacolor pencils, which is kind of my favorite way to draw specifically animals in watercolor. That's kind of the style I've come into.
I see my friend Pam smiling. She and Noelle, they're big guinea pig fans too. Pam would often babysit my guinea pigs. I have a confession. When I was a kid, I had 16 of them.
Oh my
I used
goodness.
to raise guinea pigs. It was pretty crazy. But
Whoa,
I never could draw them. My
We had
life.
a hamster. I've had a hamster before, although our hamster sadly passed away from an unknown. We still don't know what caused it to.
So you're changing colors, and do you
Yeah,
also like
I was gonna.
adjust the size?
Yeah,
brush or
totally.
pencil you
And
use?
right now I'm just using whatever brush I have here. Oh, it's some watercolor brush. I was working on a digital watercolor. I'm practicing to see if I can manage to get digital watercolors to look as nice as actual actual watercolors that I do like physically.
And do you usually, like if you're on a trip or a long journey, do you usually carry a pen and a piece of paper, or your pencils, or do you prefer the iPad? What's your kind of go-to sketch pad?
I have, although I don't know that I have a accessible. I have a sketchbook that I use just with like a regular pencil. So I
Yeah.
try to keep that with me in addition to my iPad. Yeah, because I definitely like to be, especially on long trips or on like airplane flights and whatnot. I really like having that accessible.
And for students interested in getting into drawing and art, where do you suggest they start? You're a wonderful teacher. I know Camila and Miguel really enjoy their studies with you. And do
Thank
you
you.
have like when you got started, did you just begin sketching what you enjoyed? What's the best way to get started as an artist, would you say?
Yeah, I definitely say the stuff you enjoy because you want to like have fun doing what you're doing. I can't, yeah, for the most part, I don't think I ever really have times when I'm drawing or painting when I don't enjoy it. Sometimes I'm not into the way it looks at the moment, and then I have to just kind of think about what I need to do to
Yeah.
improve it.
It's like dancers. We
Yeah,
watch it
yeah.
back and you keep, reevaluating as you go along.
Yeah, so there's definitely that aspect to it, but I don't know. I'd say especially at the beginning, I did a lot of like copying. I mean, copying is really great, either from life or from other artists because you'll pick up different techniques, and eventually you'll kind of start developing your own style because you'll realize what you like from what other artists are doing.
Do you have a favorite artist or a favorite, you mentioned like a Japanese style, is that kind of is that your go-to favorite style to work?
That's my go-to favorite for like really small, cute things, for sure.
Yeah, it's really coming together. I like the little blush that you gave it. It's got
Yeah,
little pendant on it.
little cheeks.
Aw.
But as
Send her
far
some
as like
hearts.
styles
Look at
for,
wow.
it's kind of hard to see. My phone's kind of
Wait
working.
here. I just turned off the comments so we could see it better.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Another thing that's hard, especially with watercolor or even just doing animals, is white objects like the one I'm doing right now, because what you need to do is build subtle grays, and I'd say it's harder in because the nice thing about digital stuff is that I can put layers in, so like I have a layer underneath the other layer here, which is nice. And the other thing that I can do is I can like easily erase, but when I'm doing something on physical paper, I have to be really careful and subtly build up layers, especially with something where it's supposed to be white fur.
And is this the technique you use to draw Sarah?
Yeah, definitely. So what I did for pretty much any of my watercolor physical animals, I will sketch out definitely like practice sketching out their proportions. Usually I'll do a really small thumbnail sketch, which is where you would take, let's see if I can find a sketching. Okay. Where it's like really small and you figure out exactly what the proportions look as far as, I mean, it's for the hamster, it wouldn't really be as complicated, but with something that has separate heads and limbs and stuff, you want to figure out exactly where everything is in relation to the other parts, which is all the proportion stuff. That's part of the reason I actually like doing animals, is because the human eye is less likely to notice when the proportions are off for an animal as opposed to a human. So if I'm drawing them, thank you.
I don't know. I certainly have no talent in this department, but I do know I've seen on a number of projects where when they're trying to draw dancers, the proportions are a big problem, where things don't look right. Something is just not quite the way it should be. And so,
right.
But I thought it was really amazing how quick you did all the different pictures that we threw out at you to draw and to get done in time. And we also have to give a shout out to your sister, right? For those of you watching that were in Our World Nutcracker, you saw the hand colored in. Whose hand was that? Whose hand should we credit?
That was my younger sister, Maeve. Unfortunately, she is.
I thought it was you.
No, because
my child-sized hand.
Yeah, because my hand's bigger. Yeah, yeah. I used my younger sister's hands when I could get a hold of her. Yes, she actually, whoops, she actually does do not ballet dance, but she's done like I think it's called like lyrical dance before. Is that a thing?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
yeah. So she's
So
done
she's got
done
some. You both have some
lyrical.
dance background for sure. That's
Yeah,
beautiful,
she
Olivia.
definitely has more dance background than I do. Yes. Okay, here's the little cute
Oh, that's
little
beautiful.
cute little dude.
That's great. Now, being that this is your iPad, do you have some things saved there that wouldn't be too
I
inconvenient to show
totally
our
do.
audience?
Okay, so here's an
And tell
example
us about
of
it.
the kind of, okay, let me get this going the right
Oh,
direction.
wow.
Okay,
Now, was
so
that commissioned for
this,
someone?
yes, so this is a commission, and this is an example of me using, this is me practicing the style with the watercolor. So I got a bunch of watercolor brushes recently, which is the ones I'm in right now. Whoops, they went away. Which it's a great pack of like all sorts of watercolor brushes, and so the goal is to kind of get a watercolor-ish look, which I think
Yes.
I'm doing okay. I haven't quite. The next step for me will be to kind of do a layer where I blend stuff together a little bit more.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so this is an example of me doing something digitally. It's definitely faster for me to do digital renditions of like watercolor type stuff. Although I will say I think I still like physical watercolor more for sure. Um, I was working on this in the car though, and I definitely can't do watercolor in the
Wow.
car.
And can you show
It,
us some of your different works? I want people to see the scope of what you can do.
okay.
Because I must say, for those of you like birthdays, Valentine's Day is coming up, different
Yeah, I'll
things,
do.
commissioning a piece of art
I'll,
is really something lasting
here
and
is
beautiful.
a recent thing that I did of. Oh,
Oh, how
is it working?
nice.
It's kind of the photo quality is not doing it justice particularly well. That's a little bit better, but that's a very quick thing of clouds,
Yes.
um, and then I did. Oh my goodness, all of this took me so long. So I did something. This was part of my project for my um,
Oh, I saw this one.
my
This is pretty profound.
yeah.
What was the
Yeah,
inspiration for
this
this?
took
Look at that.
this took so long. And the eyes all blink and stuff. I don't know if it's gonna actually
Yeah, I
finish
can see that.
moving. This took me a really long time. I really do love animation, but it takes so long.
What was the
I
thought behind
for
this one?
Yeah, so for my final project for my drawing course, we were supposed to do something that kind of told a story, and the goal was to involve it told a story and kind of hinted at the animation being a good idea if you had the time. I didn't, but I did it anyway. And I kind of strung it all together to the lyrics of, or actually to the actual song White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane, which I've wanted to animate for a while. It's kind of got this fun, like trippy vibe to it. I like animating eyes a lot,
So you
which is
drew
part of the reason.
all the eyes.
Yes, I drew
Wow.
all of these,
That
and
looks
it
very
took a
time
very long
consuming.
time. It was super
Yeah.
time consuming. Actually, if we want to, here, I can see, I have ways of figuring out how long I spent on works. Statistics maybe. Okay, for example, on this one, this document alone, which I think was me initially animating all of them. You can see all the layers and coloring them.
Wow.
This was 6 total hours of work. For that document alone. And then if I go further down, this is just a ton of animation
I
of
saw this one.
yeah. And
This
so
is
what the nice
Alice.
thing about the nice thing about Procreate. Oh, we've got some chaotic birds.
You're gonna have to show us these birds before we log off.
Okay.
They're dying to get on the screen.
Yeah, they really are. So yeah, there are different ways that you can animate things in Procreate. You can do like onion skin frames and stuff, which is how I tell
Oh.
when I'm going from one to the other that it actually flows.
Oh, wow.
So Procreate's a great app. It's my favorite app, and it's so nice because you only have to
That
pay.
could be
It's like
good for
it's like $10
demonstrating, like
once.
a tendu, like the action of a step, where you see the different what do you call it? Like an onion effect, where you see like the different layers?
Yeah, you see the different layers. Yep, yeah, they call
Yeah.
it in animation. You call it an onion skin if you can see the layer before and after to make sure that the frame in between is flowing correctly. This, I think I was just editing this in here. This is an actual painting I did and took a photo of, and I think I was editing it somehow. I don't really remember how.
I love the
But you
colors.
can see,
Yeah.
and you can see all
you
the.
have a
I was doing a
favorite
lot of
color?
stuff with texture.
Do you have a
Ooh,
favorite
I
color
don't
that you
know.
love to use?
I really, no, not really. But I do love, although it's kind of hard to, it's kind of being a bit washed out here, but I really love using oranges and purples together. I think that
Nice contrast.
they work really well, yeah.
I like the blue of the sky. That blue is a lovely shade. Oh, can I see the little mouse? That caught my eye when I was...
You're watching it? Yeah, so this actually started off as a sketch. Here, I'll put the background cut layer in. This started off as a sketch that I did, and I really loved it, so I turned it into something in a digital format because that's the easiest way for me to color it. Let's see if I can find here's the one with all my layers. I always have such a chaotic mess of layers. Here's the reason I brought this up because I wanted to bring up the mouse that I had in the side that I was using as kind of a reference. So you can, let's see if I bring this, oh dear, all my layers are gone.
It's funny, what is, Eliza Minden is the founder of the Gator Minden Point Shoe, very wonderful brand, and their slogan is, I think it's amazing how much work goes into making something look simple, and that's what I feel is when you show us the layers, where we see like what goes behind that, that character of that little mouse.
Yes. So there's the little, and you can see then the example of how I would do something in a different style, but I'm still using the same reference to get some of the colors and whatnot.
I love it. And I love the checkered pants.
This was something I did for the for that same obviously the same final project with the Alice in Wonderland.
I want to ask you, because as dancers, like often for an audition process, like at very minimum, they need pictures of certain positions, or they need a variation or some bar work. As an artist going to Cornell, like what did you need to do to show your work? Like, is there a certain format that's pretty traditional for art schools or to get admitted? What did you have to
So to get in, I had to submit a portfolio, and I actually had the opportunity to go interview. It was funny. I actually ended up interviewing with the director of admissions, which you do not normally do. You normally interview with a faculty member, but I ended
Nothing's
up.
normal in 2020 or 2021.
Yep, I ended up with the director of admissions, which I don't know. Maybe it worked out given that I'm there. But I actually did include at that point some digital work, but I've really gotten into digital work over this past year. Especially, I did a lot during the super long time in quarantine because I couldn't really go out to get things. So I'd say I've definitely gotten better at digital. Yeah, so this is one of my favorites. This took a really, really long time. It's a bunch of different little chibi characters. I actually made a print of this and gave it to my younger sister for Christmas.
I know a lot of our dancers watching this love this. This is just the kind of what do you have? Pushings and Squishmallows, Smashmallows? Squishmallows, I'm sorry.
Squishmallows,
it's really cute kind of Japanese inspired friendly creatures.
Totally. Yeah. So I love this style, and I messed around a bunch. I still don't know what my favorite background color is with this. I ended up choosing a bunch of them. I couldn't decide what my favorite was.
The white makes them all pop, doesn't it?
It does. It definitely does. I think I ended up liking this yellow, but I really like pastel colors a lot, which you can see in this. Plus, it's fun. It's fun taking an actual animal, like for example the corgis and whatnot, and turning them into something. Turning them into something. Turning them into something really simple. I love axolotls too. That's this little dude.
They're so cute.
Yeah, so this was a really fun work that took me a really long time because I had to simplify each animal into something that I really liked.
Right. It's like, it looks like it would be a good wallpaper or bedspread,
Yep. This is something I did. It's just a bunch of little salamanders. I don't even remember why I did this. There are salamanders that are in Ohio, which is where I'm from. Like I said, I love all sorts of little animals.
And before we wrap, do you have a favorite in your work? Like, what is your personal favorite? I remember when I asked Twilight Legend from Reading Rainbow, what's your favorite episode? She's like, well, what's your favorite child? It's a hard one. It's hard because they all have.
It's hard to say.
Meaning to them, right?
I really love, as far as works go, I really like how this one turned out. Unfortunately, the skin tone isn't coming up great on my phone, but you can see it on my Instagram. You asked before about styles that inspire me, and I'm really inspired by the Art Nouveau style. So I have a bunch of stuff that's inspired by that. This is an example of one of those pieces. Unfortunately, the color of the skin is having some difficulty. That's a little better. So yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite favorite pieces by far. I printed it out and put it up on my wall.
Well, I need to say again, folks out there, if you're looking for a wonderful artist who is a pleasure to work with, you can contact Olivia. And you're available for commission works, right, Olivia?
Yep, totally.
So, yeah. And I have to say, you know, because you meet a lot of different artists along the way, and there are a few that stick out in your mind that are just really a pleasure to work with, and you're on the top of the list. So I really appreciate how, you know, like, I'm like, oh, okay, we have one more picture. This one's from here, this one's from there. And you got it done. And it really brought the movie to life. And I can't tell you how many of the dancers, it was like a big hug for them. It really came to life. So before we log off, you have to show us the birds if you can.
Okay.
If you can.
Come here, you guys. Okay, so here is there's the other. You guys want to come here, or are you going to be mad at me?
Oh, they're cute.
No, they're trying to escape.
Wow.
They're parakeets. Hey, okay, they're going to escape from me. They don't want to come to me right now.
That's
it's kind of hard to see them.
We just had to see them because I know they had an itch to be on the show, so we had to
they
see
did.
them.
They really did. It's kind of hard with the window right behind them.
Right. Well, you got some love from the people out there. Now, do you mind flipping it so we log off with you on the screen?
Yes. Okay.
That's the face behind all the drawings and all the artwork. So again, guys, we will feature some of this on our show this Sunday. We're renaming it New American Youth Ballet Presents. Previously was The Adventures of My Ballerina Me, but we're kind of at mnn.org. Channel 2 on Sunday. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
4 p.m. Eastern.
Yes. Well, Olivia, it's been a pleasure, and I cannot wait to work with you again on some future projects.
Got it.
And thank you so much for joining us for tea and having this talk. All right. Stay well, and best to all of the birds and friends. We'll see you on Sunday, Olivia. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.